From the pages of The Ring, July 1968, comes a whirlwind of punches, politics, and power plays. This was no ordinary issue. This was a storm captured in ink. The sport of boxing stood fractured, split into kingdoms, each with its own ruler, none willing to bow. Nat Fleischer, the eternal conscience of the squared circle, demanded resolution. His editorial laid it out cold. Frazier versus Ellis must happen. Joe Frazier, the undefeated wrecking machine of Philadelphia, had dismantled Buster Mathis and claimed the crown in New York. Jimmy Ellis, cool and tactical, had outlasted Jerry Quarry to win the WBA's version. And yet, when MSG's Teddy Brenner brought the offer, Ellis's camp, helmed by Angelo Dundee, walked away. Dundee had plans: safer fights, guaranteed purses, and a padded reign. Let Frazier earn it elsewhere. Let Quarry run it back. But don't you dare ask Ellis to prove it in the ring. So the heavyweight scene remained a chaotic throne of mirrors, with Clay's name still looming like thunder, even as the courts tried to silence him. The rankings told the same story of fragmentation. Carlos Ortiz still reigned among the lightweights, Hiroshi Kobayashi, king of the junior lightweights. Lionel Rose, the pride of Australia, ruled the bantams. But the featherweights? An empty throne. Howard Winstone stood atop a pile of uncertainty. Johnny Famichin, Bobby Valdez, Raul Rojas, they circled the title like vultures. And in the heavyweight ranks, Frazier and Ellis sat at the top, with Quarry, Ramos, Bonavina, and a fading Floyd Patterson nipping at their heels. The ring's famed Prospects of the Month gave light to rising warriors, names like Richard Steele, Pajarito Corona, and Dennis Clement. Fighters not yet stars, but already punching toward destiny. And then came the chaos. The chatterbox spilled over with riot reports, medical scares, and ring rumors. A bottle-tossing melee erupted in Birmingham when Wally Swift was disqualified. Marty Servo, the fallen welterweight champ, was honored while battling cancer. Willie DeVore passed quietly. Joe Louis recovered from surgery. Promoters sparred in headlines. Marcus Anderson's career hung by a thread. Kirk Douglas's old wrestling days came to light, and Emil Griffith's team opened a new gym in Midtown, New York. These weren't headlines, they were human stories, told in sweat and scars. Then came the darkness. Sonny Liston's banishment, dissected in chilling detail. The New York Commission refused to lift it, citing arrests, prison time, and mob ties. Frankie Carbo, Frank Palermo, John Vitale. The underworld had danced with boxing for too long, and Liston's fall was a reckoning. His early life read like a tragedy. 25 siblings, juvenile prison at 14, trained to box behind bars. The commission laid bare his associations. Deals forged in shadows, promises made in backrooms, lawyers linked to gangsters. It wasn't a biography, it was an indictment. And the Ring published every damning word. Out west in California, boxing rolled on. At the Olympic Auditorium, Sam Wyatt handed Dave Ziglowicz his first loss. Hedgemon Lewis, the movie star managed welterweight, crushed his opponent and looked every bit the future champion. Sho Saigyo, the mighty mite from Tokyo, avenged his disputed draw by thrashing Jose Pimentel. Art Davis won clean. Mike Hernandez scored a brutal KO. Dennis Clement kept rolling. The new generation wasn't waiting for invitations. They were busting down the ropes. And then, just when you think the issue has peaked, page 62 opens the mat door. The wrestling section, British Mat Potpourri by Mario Muldoon, steps in with all the flair of a Sheffield main event. It's a wild tapestry of headlocks, body slams, and working-class heat. Bert Assirati, still a terrifying presence, looms over the landscape like a snarling myth. Jackie Pallo keeps drawing crowds, playing both rogue and idol. The tag scene? A riot of characters. The Royal Brothers, the Black Diamonds, and Mick McManus, all capturing imaginations in pubs and halls. Over in Manchester, fans chant through fogged-up windows, demanding rematches. Muldoon highlights the technical excellence of Johnny Saint and the brute force of Gwyn Davies. But it's not just the top-billed stars. Unknown grapplers toil in the shadows, working for meal money and pride. Muldoon paints a picture that's part carnival, part battlefield. British wrestling in 1968 is less about titles and more about emotion. Heroes and heels blur together. The crowds dictate tempo. And while American fans marvel at spectacle, the Brits demand grit. On rainy nights in Wolverhampton, they chant for their favorites. They curse the referees. They live the match. The ring gives them a few inches of column space, but the energy leaps off the page. Across the ocean, back in the British boxing scene, chaos reigns. Ralph Charles wins on a cut, John McCluskey squeaks by, Joey Durrell suffers a bad eye, fights erupt in Coventry, Hammersmith, and Glasgow. Fans storm the apron, referees dodge bottles. Brian Hudson ends it in 2. Tony Marks goes the distance. And in Birmingham, all hell breaks loose when the stoppage comes too soon. It's as though the boxing and wrestling pages have bled together. In 1968, you couldn't tell where the glove ended and the grapple began. That's how alive it all was. This issue is no time capsule, it's a time bomb, exploding with storylines, overflowing with characters. There are no easy answers, no clean divisions, just ambition, risk, rebellion, and the roar of the crowd. Whether it's Joe Frazier ducking no one, Jimmy Ellis guarding his paper crown, Sonny Liston falling under the weight of his past, or British mat heroes battling in smoky halls, the ring captured it all. Raw, real, unfiltered. This isn't nostalgia. This is how it was. This is from the pages.